Can't them. Me and me neighbor. We voting for Labour. Oh yes. Me and me neighbor. Voting. We voting for Labour. Alright. Jump and shout. Tell it all about. We shall have the victory. Victory and victory. We are gonna make that change. Yes, we will now. Make a need a chance to turn their lives around. We are gonna make that change. Tell them again. There got to be a better way. Oh yes. We are gonna make that change. Jamaica need a chance to turn their lives around. We are gonna make that change. Come on. Me and me neighbor. Alright. We voting for Labour. Oh yes. Me and me neighbor. We voting for Labour. Me and me neighbor. We voting for Labour. Alright. Me and me neighbor. Oh yes. We voting for Labour. Jump and shout. Tell it all about. We shall have the victory. Jump and shout. Tell it all about. We shall have the victory.
Good morning, Labour Roots, and good morning to all other comebacks watching this channel. Welcome to another episode of Political Hard Talk. I am your host, none other than the greatest Labourite alive. Good morning, my people. Good morning. Now, you guys would have heard me say on multiple occasions. Visual check and voice check. Could you tell me if you not hear me? Tell me if you not see me. Tell me if it's blurry. Tell me what I go on. See? Now you guys would have heard me said on multiple occasions that, Mama Paula Llewellyn is one of the persons that I respect the most in Jamaica. See? And I am sad to see her go, my people. I wish she could stay on for longer. However, I know that she cannot last the new blood, new persons with new ideas come. And I want to send, I want to show my gratitude to her for the service that she have given to Jamaica. And, she has certainly been one of my role models. And, much love and much respect to Mama Paula. We know the no one hear that. We know the criminal them, no one hear that. But however, also before we roll out the morning shout out to my people, the government has done a review into the PART program, and I have a clip of Pernell Charles Jr. talking about that, and they are certainly making it easier for you to get on part. There has been a lot of challenges, a lot of problems, and the government is setting out now to rectify that. So I wanted to give persons that information, because there's plenty of persons in Jamaica that don't even bother trying to get on part because they were told that it is arduous to get onto it, and it is a long game. In many cases it still is, and the government has recognized that, and they are trying to rectify it. So let's roll out the morning shout outs, and then let's get into the program, my people. So Beverly Clark, good morning. Larry, big up yourself. Elaine McClarity, big up. Rohan, big up yourself, my boss up there in New York. Mama Winsome, good morning. Verona, big up yourself. Iloni, big up yourself. Jerome, big up yourself. Just CJ, big up yourself. Jacqueline Chambers, Susan, Karine, Warrell, big up yourself. PB, big up yourself. Michelle Towson, big up yourself in the lifestyle politics. Good morning to my beautiful wife. Good morning, baby. Silbert, big up yourself. Melody, good morning. Danro, big up yourself. Jamdong, big up. Caitlin, big up yourself. Charmaine, big up yourself. A. Hutchinson, big up. Hopi, big up. Corinne, big up. Garfield, big up yourself. Craig, big up yourself. See? And let's get into it now, my people. For persons who is here and have not commented, big up on yourself, see me. Big up all my comebacks that is watching from the sideline. Big up all 31 persons that gave me a thumbs up thus far. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. See? And give the live a thumbs up. Get us to 80 thumbs up, please. OSG, good morning. Now, we got an interview of Mama Paula Llewellyn doing an interview on the Wretched TVJ. I cut out Dan Jackson Miller part out of it, the first part. Cause we know we don't really like to hear fear voice, you know. But I couldn't cut out her out of all I video my people. So let us just listen to Mama Paula Llewellyn.
Jamaica. Thank you, Jamaica, for your support and your love. I would always appreciate it.
Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn during a sit-down with TVJ News some 48 hours before her tenure comes to an end. Ms. Llewellyn was appointed Jamaica's first female DPP in 2008, but her
big up in a Charmian Bigs.
Journey as
about 5 different Charmian we have by you know.
Prosecutor began long before that. Combined, she served 40 years. She led a sweeping transformation of the office, digitizing operations and strengthening prosecutorial procedures. Under her leadership, the office of the DPP grew from a unit of about 20 prosecutors in 2008 to more than 50 in 2018.
Don't tell me with 20 prosecutors, what Jamaica could have prosecute. That's why so much criminal used to get away, because case load they did too much for 20 prosecutors and no could get no justice in our country, my people. See?
In the meeting office, I can.
Yeah, I know a man named Tama talk about my smile, you know. I'm not careful, you know.
Tell you that we have received approval to go up to 70 prosecutors, which will make us the biggest agency in the Caribbean.
But her journey was not without challenges. Among the landmark cases, her office led the Vibes Cartel murder trial, the Christopher Dodders Coke extradition, the Traffic Guru case, among others. Her critics have not been very kind.
I have had to deal with the slings and arrows.
You hear that cheap PNP case she prosecuted, you know, that's why they need to get rid of her. You see, I'm telling you all the while, you know, say PNP is a criminal enterprise. Me pull up the part that I'm going to hear. Except in the other spot, but you know, next to a PNP.
Llewellyn was appointed Jamaica's first female DPP in 2008, but her journey as prosecutor began long before that. Combined, she served 40 years. She led a sweeping transformation of the office, digitizing operations and strengthening prosecutorial procedures. Under her leadership, the office of the DPP grew from a unit of about 20 prosecutors in 2008 to more than 50 in 2018.
In the meeting office, I can tell you that we have received approval to go up to 70 prosecutors, which will make us the biggest agency in the Caribbean.
But her journey was not without challenges. Among the landmark cases, her office led the Vibes Cartel murder trial, the Christopher Dodders Coke extradition, the Traffic Guru case, among others. Her critics have not been very kind.
I have had to deal with the slings and arrows coming from both sides at different times. But as I told you before we started this interview, I have always considered myself to be an independent-minded person. And having been a first, I recognized that I must never be captivated. And this is why I love to coin the phrase, a good professional in this sphere, you have to have.
I wanted Mama Llewellyn to be around when we lock up the IC, Seymour Panton and the rest of them. I wanted her to be around for that. But you know, but she'll be watching from the sidelines, my people.
Mental toughness, or what I like to call testicular fortitude. It transcends gender. And a broad back.
I'm going to have to remind myself not to say Madame DPP, but thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. So there are some phrases that we've heard from you over the years, you know, that you have to have a broad back to withstand the slings and the arrows. And you speak, of course, about your favorite phrase, testicular fortitude. It's really important as a public figure not to get swallowed up by the negativity. And so I can understand why you've said that. But is it also possible that in barricading yourself against that negativity, you also shut out feedback that could have been useful and that could have perhaps helped you to course correct or do things differently?
Not at all. Not at all. Because if you look at my history, all over Jamaica, I accept invitations to speak at service club functions, graduations. I've been guest speaker and given motivational speeches at so many different events. And this helps me to be right up close to the people and to talk with them generally, and hear what people will have to say. When I talk about testicular fortitude and having a broad back, it means that
when you don't listen to Diane Jackson Miller, just tune her out, my people. None of we not like her. Just tune her out. Good morning to my beautiful mother-in-law. We are listening to Mama Paula Llewellyn. And that we are listening to this man.
Though you can have a split screen where you can understand the angst of the court of public opinion, nonetheless, especially in very sensitive matters, it may have sensitivities in terms of security. It may have sensitivity in terms
Dayton Campbell don't like her because, she decided to prosecute the case against Jylan Silvera. That is why Dayton Campbell don't like a lady, because she decided to prosecute the case. Now you look at yourself as a female. Every year man kill you if you're picking them, you look at baby picking them. Uno don't want justice. Uno don't want justice for no picking them and for yourself. So because she decided to go off a Jylan Silvera and lock him up, that is why the PNP hate her. I wanted her removed. Me tell you all the while, say them is a criminal enterprise. You think a joke?
terms of whichever way you turn as a matter of law, it allows it. Maka is going to choke you. So having the testicular fortitude is just basically to make sure that your mind is in the right place to do what the law says is the right thing to do, even though the court of public opinion may wish you to do otherwise.
A lot of times people in the court of public opinion, as you're alluding to, don't necessarily know the law and what the law says you should and should not do.
And social media, no other DPP has had to deal with that.
And I'm going to come to that. But a lot of people who are more knowledgeable of the law don't always think you made the right decision. So for instance, you've always spoken very frankly about the importance of the prosecutor's office, the prosecutor as being a quote-unquote minister of justice, meaning you're not supposed to be running down convictions, you're supposed to be acting in the public interest and wherever justice would lead you. But there have been criticisms either that you haven't prosecuted where you should or you've prosecuted where you shouldn't. Let me just give you one specific example. For instance, the notorious Irwin rape case, 2012. Terrible case. 4 women and an 8-year-old child raped. 2 brothers were charged with, and public sentiment against them was so strong. At first, they couldn't even get a lawyer. It was that bad. DNA tests showed they were not a match for the rapists. Didn't place them at the scene, but in what a lot of people thought was a travesty of justice, your office said they were proceeding with the prosecution. And in fact, not only were they not found guilty in 2013, in 2014, DNA implicated another man entirely. Do you look back on that as a mistake?
You know, the unfortunate thing with a lot of what I call the social media judges and prosecutors and police officers and defense counsel is that they never have the file with all the statements to look at. A prosecutor, you have to make a judgment call, which is why in the Leonie Allen matter, the Privy Council said that when a seasoned prosecutor makes a decision not to prosecute or to prosecute, once there's a viable case, it's not easily disturbed in terms of judicial review. That was a matter that I would say was on the borderline. When you looked at the statements, the complainants were quite clear in respect of their identification, because the evidence was, in terms of the statements, that the faces of their assailants, especially during the sexual act, was inches away from their face. That is the evidence on paper. Now, in respect of the prosecution of the matter, remember the prosecution has to put a case that is the best available material. You have the rules of evidence, the judge has a duty. So you have the eyewitnesses saying one thing, you have scientific evidence saying possibly another. I have done cases where the scientific evidence in terms of what is the basis in terms of some issue to do with what was examined was not correct. So what we decided to do was to put everything out there in the wash, because as a matter of law, there are safeguards at every step of the way. And by the time the two ladies gave evidence, their credibility, I think one of them especially, the credibility under cross-examination was found so wanting that as a matter of law, in terms of what the case law on credibility says, we were obliged to offer no further evidence. So there are safeguards along the way, but you have to balance that with the fact that the public in Irwin, they would have been aware that the witnesses, in terms of the scenario that they are telling, in respect of what happened, they were face to face with one person on top of them. That is what they're saying. We weren't there. So it is better in terms of the public interest, the interest of the public in Irwin, and knowing that you have safeguards in the rules. Let it all come out in the wash, and that is exactly what happened.
In this case, though,
so basically, she's saying it is best to carry on, and the safeguards are there. And if the evidence is wanted in court, then, it will vindicate. And for the PNP, them, but they probably want to understand what vindicate mean. It means, the court will find them not guilty if the evidence cannot stand up in court. We'll continue to listen.
Because what you're describing as public interest, with respect, sounds a little bit more like pandering to public.
Not at all, not at all.
In a situation where you had DNA.
No, but I'm saying to you, in my experience, I am the first prosecutor in Jamaica to use DNA in a case called Bernard Chang.
I'm aware. I was
right?
wanting to
I'm
be
the
at the time.
first person, and it was a very difficult case to prepare because it had never been ventilated in the courts. So I know about DNA evidence, but as I said, it's a balancing act. And sometimes, just like the judges and sentencing, it's a balancing act. And it was one of what I would call a borderline case. So we had to put ourselves in a situation where everything would come out into the wash. It's all well and good, and it's so easy. I set myself the task of opening up the office and giving access. But it is a double-edged sword, because so you give access. You have social media. And you know the saying that sometimes a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Persons may opine or give an opinion, but you don't have the advantage that we would have, which is to have the entire file before you.
Couple of things, because you're being respectfully a little bit dismissive there of critics.
I'm not being dismissive, but
this was not coming from the social media massive alone. A lot of this was coming from learned people with lots of legal
who had read the file
in the community.
Had they read the file?
But you yourself use the word borderline.
Did any of the persons giving the criticism? Come on, I came here in peace. Did any of these persons criticize? Yes or no? Did any of them read the file? Unless they had read the file and all the statements, interviewed the witnesses, I would ask them to give way to the professionals who did. Okay?
You use the word borderline. If you have a borderline case, should the benefit not be in favor of them?
No, because you have the public interest. You have eyewitnesses who were assaulted in the most egregious way, who are saying that these men were on top of me, inches away from my face. That is what their statements are saying. What would we say to those witnesses? What would we say to those witnesses?
They need one the woman to tell them, say, "You don't come from out here, lie, you don't tell. You don't lie and move." And that they need what DPP to tell the people that.
So at this point, 2025, you look back and you still believe that?
I probably would have made the same decision.
Okay.
Because we have the witnesses, the pendulum of justice. Gone are the days where the pendulum of justice only swings in the direction of the accused. The victims have rights. Exactly. And if the law allows everything to come out in the wash, then that is where the balance will be kept.
Okay, we're at our first break.
Make sense. I'm not getting enough trouble, so Mama Paula can lock me up because I know I don't get way. So I don't do the same thing. Well, Mama Paula gone now, but I know she must train somebody, that is going to be like a hound like her. Anyways, I want to tell you guys about the PART program and the changes that the government is pursuing. They have ordered a review into the PART program, and they're strengthening it to remove people because there are people on it that is abusing it, and they are strengthening it to put people on it that really needs it, my people. See? So here we go. This is an interview from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Colonel Charles Jr. See?
All of PART, Minister. Where are we with that?
Let me first say, PART is the most popular social assistance program in the country. And that comes with good things and bad things. Good things that PART, despite all the challenges, has served hundreds of thousands of persons, hundreds of thousands of children, elders, pregnant.
Tell me if you not hear it properly, guys, because he's on the phone, so it's kind of distorted a little bit. Don't tell me, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So don't tell me if you not hear it.
Lactating mothers, indigent persons with disabilities, several. But there are several more who wanted to get on, who thought they should get on, who didn't get on. There are several who are on, stayed on, and they shouldn't have remained on because their circumstances changed. And then there are several who said to themselves, because of the perceptions, I'm not even going to bother to try to get on the path. So the Prime Minister in his wisdom instructed when myself and Dr. Dunn at the time in 23 went to Labour that this be a priority. So we pushed out with a...
Well, don't tell me if you not hear it, guys. Me assume so not hear it because I not say no, so,
One, the World Bank was doing an in-depth review of some of the technical aspects, which is pretty much complete now. The PIOJ also has completed their review, and the Ministry of Labour, through two technical working groups looking on different aspects relating to operational and just the whole procedure and regulations around PART, is completing their review with.
So the government and Jones actually ordered about 3 or 4 different agencies, including the PSIOJ, to do reviews into the PART program, because as you know, while the PNP was in government, if you had something like a stove or a pit latrine, or an inside bathroom, you would not be allowed to be on PART. That would deem you to mean that you were not poor enough to be on PART. So the government is disbanding with all of those things. But Colonel Charles will explain further. So if, for example, if they came to your house and you had a microwave or a flat screen TV or a fridge, a new fridge, they would not put you on PART, my people.
The several town halls that Jamaica knows that we did, and the TikTok live that I did yesterday, and other consultations with the country. This is critical because we want to create a modern, reliable, fair, transparent program that is achieving the goal and mitigating from any manipulation, and most importantly, ensuring that the lived reality and the perception is aligned. So if it is that PART is working, people should feel that it is working. And if it is not, people should know it is not and be able to adjust and make the corrections.
And one of the things you said, Minister, earlier this year was that the ministry recognizes that path heavily reliant on the ownership of certain physical house assets and consumer durables, and how that was an aspect of it that needed to be reformed. You just mentioned that you had several town hall meetings. At those town hall meetings, what else were you hearing from persons, whether they be persons who were applying and didn't get onto the program, or persons who were kicked off the program when they should still be on the program? What did you hear out of those town halls that would inform this reform process?
So I break up the commentary and the issues raised into...
So let me just pause to say that this review, the government is moving rapidly to, to a part of the system where if you apply for part, the only thing that is assessed is if you are employed. So if you're not employed, then you can be on part. And the time you get employed, I believe you stay upon it for a little while, or it depends upon the amount of hours that you're working. Just like foreign, anybody will live a foreign will get welfare. If you work, say, in England, I know if you work only 16 hours, or I believe if you work, I don't know. I think somebody tell me if I work 16 hours or something like that. I've been working for years, so I don't really know about it something there. See, but I think it depends on the amount of hours that I work with people. So, for example, if I work 40 hours, I believe that will deem as your full-time employed, so you would not be eligible to be on part. So that is where they're moving the system rapidly too.
Number one was relating to the preliminary assessment, that evaluation where somebody sits down in front of an officer and you're asked a series of questions coming out about proxy means tests, including those questions about, where do you live, how many persons in your household, and what you have in your house. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that can be very, very intrusive and embarrassing. And people will ask the question, so hold on, if I don't have a pit latrine, I can't get on the path, if I have a TV, but I know me by the stove, and my uncle said me, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a common one, asking if people have an inside bathroom. Very
common issue, and it is a real issue, so that's one. Number two, related to the verification process. So you have gone through, you are questioned, you're approved by the proxy means system. However, you have to wait now for a social worker to attend upon your household to verify you. And that can take a long time based on what we're told. Weeks, months, sometimes, unfortunately, years. The third is recertification, which means you've gone through your question.
So these are the issues that they are facing with the program people. So that is what is going to. I open and listen, so you can tell people we are waiting for part. Say, my government is going to fix the part system. They have already completed 2 out of the 3 review or 2 out of the 4 review, and they are, making the necessary changes to get you on there and so that you can live a better life, because this will also help with the poverty scores in Jamaica. So if we can get more people per part, we take them out of absolute poverty. See? So this is in the best interest of this government. See?
And you're approved, you're verified, you're on path, 4 years has passed, and you're now at that stage where you are to be reassessed to see whether you come off or you stay on. And that recertification process has been a significant handicap, because many persons have not been recertified, which means you're just in a purgatory. You're not getting any support, you're not really off, you're not really on, you're just in that abeyance. And fourthly is just the general customer service and perceptions around PASS, which has caused many persons to crystallize in their mind that it doesn't even make sense for me to go on unless I have a list. And it's...
You not hear me now? You not hear me now? The internet just cut out a while ago. See? So me pause it. And tell me if you not hear me now. Good morning, Ivan. Alright, cool.
Your mind that it doesn't make sense for me to go on unless I have a link. And the sabotage thing and this. And if you don't know somebody at the parish office, it makes sense. And that's their lived reality. So what I try to do is not to bark back or to say, well, that's not true. It could very well be true to you based on how you feel, or maybe it's even true in some aspects. The reality is we recognize, acknowledge that there are issues, and that is why we have set out on this very, very in-depth review, which I must tell you, we don't define it based on it being fast or time. We define this efficiency based on it being comprehensive and effective, which is why it has taken some time. And we intend to make sure that at the end of it, the almost 300,000 beneficiaries, which includes a large amount of children, almost 2/3 are children, and another big bulk is elderly, that they will be best served, and that we will create other streams that respect the fact, and this is another issue too, that some persons have additional issues, such as persons with disabilities or other things, which may need to have more specific streams that are providing support based on their circumstance.
One of the things you add, certification process, is this something that's done annually?
Not annually, it's done over periods. Put it this way, yes, it's done annually, but for every individual beneficiary, it's done over 4-year periods. Annually, you are engaged and assessed, but the recertification process, which with the technical removal and being...
Michelle, nobody should be ashamed to get on part. All of us pay taxes in Jamaica, and it is all of us tax money. So if it reached to a stage where anybody needs the help, they should go and get it. Sit down, or anybody shouldn't sit down and be hungry and knowing that there's help in the country. You know, you go there, you talk to persons properly. Good morning, miss. Good morning, madam. You know, try and lighten the mood. Some people come and work with them problems still, you know. Some people come, so we need to do something about the customer service in the country. But I find when you deal with people appropriately and deal with them with look of manners and look of grace, and they go like you're entitled to nothing. See, even though you're entitled to it, but not behave the way they. But a lot of time, customer service is lacking in Jamaica. So we need a company to come in with teach customer service in Jamaica. I may have something else to add to this, but it is a suggestion that I'm going to make to government. But I will wait till after the clip.
Re-inputted is done over 4-year periods.
And you've heard from persons who are saying they're left in limbo because the PATH personnel are taking too long to carry out that process.
You know, it's not that simple. So it's not just blame the personnel. It's more the actual system itself. The whole technology and the mechanisms have left much to be wanted. So it is.
When you say the technology,
meaning you have a system that identifies when you are at the stage to be certified. There are certain things that are to be done to make sure you proceed in terms of the whole transition of assessment and then the determination of whether you continue or you're removed. And the technical aspects of that have given problems just as much as the other issues relating to the number of staff that are needed, the competence, the efficiency of the operations. So I wouldn't want to say just personnel. That would give a wrong impression. It's more than that.
So data management is an issue?
Yes, it is an issue. Data management, and beyond data management, the actual mechanism that is used is now under review to see how we can resolve the technical issues to make sure that there are no glitches that are inadvertently leaving people in this abeyance.
So, I don't know if Pernell Charles listen to me this morning. I have his number still, so I might text him and tell him say if they want hire me for look about a certain part of the ministry, I can do it. So listen to this now, my people. Create an online application. For example, the farm. So this is getting rid of persons from the office. Saying so persons who do not have access to the internet will need to go to the office. Persons who are elderly and are not capable of reading would need to go to the office. But for example, we have a 4-page application form. You definitely are going to need your voter ID number, your TR and your NIS. And when you fill out the application, somebody will contact you to come to the office with your physical copies of your document. They will then photocopy those, put it in the system, process the form, cut out some of the time where you have to sit down with somebody and fill out the form. See? Also, what must follows behind this, my people? What must follows behind this is a system where, I don't know how them are going to work this, but them can put it in the same part office. In England, we got something that is called Job Center Plus. See? So what must come from this is to create job centers where you can go there, and government website there are jobs that you can search for, or you can search for your jobs independently. But you must come with the evidence to show that here are the jobs that I look for. I made this call here and I fill out this application here. Here is my CV. See, this is what I did in the cover letter, whatever. And then after you doing all of that, the money will be released to you. See? So we can't have people sit down and be completely lazy. I collect money, they might have 10,000 picking, and through they know so the part is there, then just sit down, they not try to make nothing in their life, they not try to uplift their life, they not try to come off of the system there. See? We can't have another generation of Jamaicans sitting down and doing nothing. So what must comes from this as well are places where you can go and somebody check that you're actually looking for jobs. You know, it isn't to be annoying, yes, but what other alternative? We are going to have generations of people sitting down and collecting government benefits. See? So we need to do that. The program is for every Jamaican, no P and JLP. Yes, every Jamaican. So what we need to do is, you know, we have labor right to and an ambition to and a PNP one. And it's just that majority of labor right usually more ambitious. That is it. But you have ambitious PNP too. See? So yeah, we have some job agencies in Jamaica as well. We can take them on board, send persons there, go and fill out the application. You know, see if I can get something, but you're not removed after the benefit until 6 months after you're employed. So you get to keep your benefit up to 6 months and keep your pay. So you start a new job, you'll get paid up to 6 months, but we not take you off of the part program. Because sometimes you go in a job, you know, and the job is not for you. And you go there and you have somebody not agree. You have to end up and lose back your work or whatever. So you have to go search again. So I wouldn't say to remove the persons off of that system for up to 6 months. So anytime after the 7th month, like when you reach 6 months, in the 7th month, as you go in at the 7th month, boom, your money get cut off where you used to get a part. See? So you have the part money plus a 6 month, big up yourself, Cochetta, plus a 6 month of salary that you start get already. See? So we have to encourage these things, my people. You know, so I wanted to come and give you guys this information. The government is moving rapidly to fix up the part program, among other things. Just me only someone acting now, new DPP not yet selected. If there's a process, just me, big up yourself, there's a process to select a new DPP. I believe I was told that Prince Kamika is one of the persons who is going up for DPP. I believe they should give it to her. That is my opinion, but the process go how it should go, you know. And we want, if it goes smooth, we don't want the PNP to carry on with themselves and say that, you know, persons are being selected by the government, because the PNP is is in a downward spiral now, and they're crying because you know why? All of their persons that they have in positions of power, they are in danger of being replaced now. So all of them surrogates that they have been sitting down and placing into positions of power to help them whenever it comes to election, those persons are now in danger of losing their positions, you know. So The Service Commission interview a few people. Okay, yeah, I was told that father that night. In Canada, you work for months, lose your work, you can unemployment for months. In England, there are generations of family. You go to some place England, especially outside of London. You go to some place in England where your granny they depend benefit, your mother depend benefit, you depend benefit. You can have picking and your picking then depend 4 generations of family depend benefit in England. So you see sometimes when you see we have a look ugly man over here named Nigel Farage where he seems to have some kind of problem with immigrant. Him and Trump a good friend. And them say, me see them run a projection this morning say if the election to call right now there would be a hung parliament and he will come out with the most amount of seats. So somebody will have to work with him to form the government. And the only thing in my campaign plan is to get rid of immigrants. That's all. In a campaign plan, nothing else. And the people are so racist. You know, I am not afraid to say that, and it is racism why England voted out of the the European Union, sorry. And for the last 15 years or so, the last 10 years, sorry, you know, the British economy have been stagnating because white elderly persons, especially because of racism, they did not want the Europeans here. And they voted out of the EU, and the younger generation have to suffer for that. No, because they can't get no house. They can't do nothing. They're stuck because I big old white people them when I don't behavior and I'm brought up see. And racist. And that is what it was about. It wasn't about no sovereignty and nothing like that. See? There is a candidate up for the post of the DPP, but there is an acting DPP at the moment. I think it is the same person who was acting while Paula Llewellyn was going through the court battle, you know. I believe it is the same lady, but I'm not sure. Somebody can fact check me on that as well. You know, but great things are happening in our nation. I am excited for it. And it is good to know that there are safety nets in place in case you fall upon hard times. Also, what the government is adding to the social security safety net, my people. There will be a separate program running through the Ministry of Social Security where if you are employed and you lose your work, you can get access to that benefit and the government will pay all your bills and give you money in your pocket for up to 6 months until you get back on your feet. So, for example, you're working at your job, you lose your job, you don't necessarily have to go up on part, you know, but you can sign up for your benefit and the government will give you some money to pay your bills, pay your rent, put some money in your pocket for up to 6 months. After 6 months, then cut you off though. So that will help you to, you know, to lay over and to do better. So you don't have to go turn to crime and criminality because of desperation. This is things that the government is doing, and it all ties in together with, you know, poverty being reduced, you know, you just having a better standard of life in Jamaica. So what the PNP was not able to do in Jamaica was to make a blueprint of how the system would work, intertwine and work together, you know, and have safety nets for persons. So people would usually turn to crime. You have youths where grow up and see their mother and father struggle, so, you know, then turn to criminality. No, there should be no excuse, or in the next 5 years, there would be no excuse for you to turn to criminality unless you want to, because they are safety nets. No, certain little things I can tell you, when I was about 19 or so, my sister signed me up on a benefit that we have at England called JSA, Job Seekers Allowance. And every time I went to sign on, I used to be ashamed because I come from a family of Jamaica where I never wanted for nothing. And when I come to England and I finish college and I have to sign up for that, it was embarrassing. And I did not stay up for long, my paper. As soon as I got a job, I never went back since, you know, and I don't plan to go back ever, you know. So I work as much as I can to keep my independence, because it was a bit embarrassing for me at 19-year-old, you know. But I don't believe now, as I'm older, you know, if you need the help, don't stay hungry. Go and go get the help, you know. Go and go do it. I'm sure if I had no other option, I probably would have myself, but I have options, you know. So you have to try and create options for yourself as well. You know, don't sit down and feel sorry for yourself and think, you know, you can't make nothing of yourself because true them I tell you. Because we have an issue in Jamaica, you know. They used to tell me as well all the time that I'm stupid and all of these things. I mean, even my mother tell me, say, I not got amount to nothing. So we have an issue with parents telling kids that in Jamaica. Them things there, it will maim you and it will scare you. So we have to kind of change them kind of mindset there in our country. See, I don't tell my kids that. Never ever. You know, I don't even slap my children. We just tell them, say, yo, you know, don't do that. You're wrong. You know? So we is a different generation from parents. Our parents is a different generation from theirs. But we have to kind of move to a point now where we tell them, say, we reward them for good things, you know, and tell them, say, that is good and you can do it. And you will do it, you know. And when you do it and when they do it, you need to be there to clap and say, yes, I am proud of you. Them things that will drive them and fuel them. You pay in the system. Shouldn't be embarrassing. It's called unemployment. Well, yeah. You know, I have paid thousands over the years into the system. You know, so like me say, I am sure if the day should come and I need it, I would have no choice. But if as long as I have a choice, I will stay away from it. But when I was younger, I used to be embarrassed. I mean, I tell no lie. You know, a teacher told me I would not come out to nothing. I prove her wrong. And that me prove everybody wrong too. Me prove everybody wrong. So you see me now, me now as a big man, anytime you tell me say me can't do something, I say, yeah man, watch. Watch I see though. Watch I see. That is me. So anytime nobody tell me say me can't do nothing, me I thinking in my mind say, yeah man, me not say it out loud, but me I say, yeah man, watch now. Watch I see. So that the kind of mindset that we have to give with children them. Because your mindset have to be right, you know. See? The greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life. See? Me run we go live with my father. And see run when me run we go live with my father. That changed the trajectory of my life. Me learn to read. Me had a stable home. And that brought stability to me. And that you know. So when time me really start to learn, now me realize say, and I don't like any that tell me. Me just never know. That's why I'm telling all the while say, we can't always dismiss the PNP them. Sometimes they really don't know because of what they are told. You know. So that they hold on pan. You know, so when me go live with my father, me start excel now. And my father did everything that he could as well to help me. My father and my stepmother did everything that they could to help me for advance. You know, me go to Sunday school, me go to evening class, me go to summer school. You know, my stepmother beating, some things where for beating on me too. You know, but we not take them the kind of stats that we they picking them. You know, you just have to start nurture them from young. Send them to school. You know, for me, 2 girl picking them, me start send them a nursery. So till them advance up, you know, so they can learn. We have to get the earlier the child start, the better chance the child have to go through life. We have to remember that, my people. See? So we have to do all of them things that in Jamaica to change the trajectory of our people them. The younger you start, the Chinese then got this luck in, brother. As soon as Chinese people can talk, Chinese start teaching them people to read, you know, and to do maths, you know. See, that them got over we and the Japanese them, you know. As soon as the people say dada, then start teach them. So we have to move to that point there. Jamaica, you come to Jamaica sometime and I see all, me look at cousin them and me look 1 or 3, 1 or 4, 1 or 5. And then I go and look at school or nothing. And I find that strange, I find it weird. You know, but I guess that's just what we used to. But in Jamaica, the government is making great strides and we have to play our part as well as a people. Because we tend to depend upon government wholly and solely for everything in Jamaica. If you don't notice, everything is always the government fault. Everything, somehow Andrew Holness Kasi. Because people don't learn responsibility for themselves. For example, a taxi man we hear say 1,000 times you get 1,000 ticket already if you not stop. That's how we stop. See? They're told to use the bus park. The bus park is there for everybody to use. Use the bus park. Then stop out the road, see me. And when they get the ticket, you hear say police, government send police to harass poor. So what am to rule we just break? Why reason we have to have rules? See? So all of these things are learned behavior. We have to teach, we pick it them. Say, listen, there are rules and you must follow them. See? And nothing good on a government. Yes, that. Nothing good on a government. Why do your crime start good on and then say on a government? PNP and PNP then. See? Me see one name Vincent take me on this morning again. Vincent Smith under my video me do yesterday. Take me on again say government give me video. I make false video, give me if you can't tell the people them and I lie me I tell. All of these things can be fact checked. When you follow JIS, which is Jamaica Information Service, this is where you get the information from as it relates to Jamaica. And when you go on JIS, on YouTube,